Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the interior partition walls, and we'll create a new wall type. I should also point out that it doesn't make a huge difference the order in which you do this. I recommend that you always create your levels first and then your grid lines, then probably your floors, exterior walls, and roofs and foundation, just to kind of get to a point where using a shift middle mouse button in here where you've got kind of something to kind of work with. And you can also start to set your sheets up at this point, right? So you can take your views and start to put them on sheets. We'll do that fairly shortly. But next I'll move to partition walls. You could go to exterior windows if you wanted. I'm just going to double click on my main floor plan and go down to there. Now let's have a look at our PDF file here of our plans. Okay, and I'm zoomed in a little bit. So there's our first floor, and that's really what we have to do. So we have really one partition wall that goes through here and zigzags just at the end where this window is, and that's about 24 foot 11 from outside or from grid line to center line. And then we have some more partitions along here. So we can do this just by kind of laying in roughly where these lines are and then dimension them after the fact and drive the placement from the dimension. So if we kind of look at this and take a visual of, approximately what this looks like, you've got, a line across here, you've got a zigzag in your men and women's, you've got a corridor, office, 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 then you've got another partition over here. Okay, so we can sketch this in really quickly. Okay, then put the dimensions on and then change the dimensions and have the model update. Now I find it's a lot quicker to do it that way than to try to draw it exactly right the first time. So watch how we can do this. So the first thing that we want to do here is create our new wall type and then set our heights and stuff. So on the top of main floor, we can go up and pick wall off of here, or we can pick wall off of our quick access toolbar. From there, we're going to look at our type selector and see what we have. And I think we're going to again create our wall from scratch. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a wall that is 4-inch of metal studs and then a 1/2 inch of drywall on each side. So we're going to start with our generic 5-inch, and then I'm going to say edit type, and then I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to call it 5-inch partition. Hit OK, and then I'm going to go into the structure. I'm going to make the inside 4 inches. And then I'm going to add insert one on that side, insert another one here, and this one that I just created, I need to go down, and this is going to be 1/2 inch, and this is going to be 1/2 inch. So we have a total of 5 inches, 1/2 inch. Again, I can add my materials. I'm going to change this to be a finish 4, and this also to be a finish 4. Okay, so low priority, high priority when they clean up, when walls and floors and roofs clean up, these numbers in the brackets, the lower the number, the higher the priority. So this is a priority 1 of 5. This is a priority 4 of 5. Materials, we'll get to that later. So that's okay. And okay, so now we have our wall type, and now we can say, let's look at the top and bottom. Base is at top of main, offset of 0, that makes sense, up to top of second, minus 14 inches, which would put it to the underside of the ceiling on the second floor. So now I'm going to click in here and zoom around to make it active. Now I can zoom. So I know I have one somewhere along here, and you can see the blue numbers. I know I want it to be about 25 feet. So I'm not sure where it is. It's snapping to the center, so I'm just going to go with that and click to there. Okay, that adds that one wall in. Now I can see that I have another office somewhere over here. Then I have another office here. Then I have another office or washrooms here. And I have like a corridor of some form going in here. and then I have a wall that kind of goes like this and somewhere over here. See, I'm not even being too worried about the exact sizes of everything. Okay, now I have another wall also coming in over here, going to there. Escape, escape. Now when this type of thing happens, okay, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to type TL on the keyboard for thin lines. And I want to align this side with this side. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this guy and pull it off temporarily. Now I'm going to use my handy align tool, modify, align this edge to this edge, click, escape, escape. Now when I bring it back, I'll have a nice clean connection like that. Remember, if you can't see your line work, make sure this says fine detail, and also TL on the keyboards for thin lines makes it go nice and thin so you can see more detail. Okay. Object styles is why those lines are as wide as they are. So that kind of gets me started. I also believe there's a zigzag here. So what I'm going to do, watch, I'm going to pick on this wall and I'm going to use this tool called Create Similar. This is one of my favorite tools outside of the Align tool, which is really, I call it the give me one of these. Give me one of these. So if I pick on any object, could be a wall, a door, a window, or anything, and say give me one of these, basically starts that command and then lets you trace that or draw with that object. So if you pick a door and say give me one of these, it'll let you place a door. So it just basically lets you place one of the objects you've selected. Now I can use my handy trim and extend and just trim these two guys here so they look like that. So that's kind of the first run at the partitions. And now what I'm going to do, escape, escape, is put in some dimensions in there. So let's just have a quick look over here, see if we're close and what our dimensions are like. So we're going to string one set of dimensions down here centered. We'll put one right across here. We'll do one through this washroom area and then around inside of here. So we'll do some interior partitions and interior dimensions. So let's go back to our Revit. And I don't need these to be exactly the same. It looks like I also need to click on here and say give me one of these and add in a little doorway there, trim, click. If you go right to the next command, you don't have to hit escape. You can just go pick the next command. Now I'm going to add some dimensions in. I'll pick dimension here. I'm going to go from the grid line to the center line, right? See, it says wall center lines. Center line, center line, center line, grid line, wiggle in the middle, and then place it. Okay? I'm going to do it again from the grid line to the center line to the grid line, stretch that up, place it. Okay, now I'm just going to go from center to center to center. Over here I'm going to hover and then tab until I get the grid line, then pick. See how I did that? Okay, watch. Center line, center line, center line, get to here, tab, 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 tab. You can zoom in with your dimensions and tab from edge to edge using your tab key on your keyboard. And it'll also show you on the status bar down here as you're tabbing. You want grid line. Grid, click, and then the key is to pick nothing to place it. Okay? Pick a grid line here, center, center, center. Place that over there. Okay, panning over here to here, here to tab, click, place it, center to center here, center, tab, click, place that one, just to get them in there. Those don't have to be the final dimensions. You just want to get something on there so you can have a look at the real number.